So the agenda is basically that we are going to write a sample Python program where you will understand how Python code looks like, right? Because if you want to learn Python, you should know how it looks like, really, right? I mean, how the syntax of Python looks like. So once we look at the Python syntax, then we are going to start deep dive into variables and data types. So the sample Python program, let's get started there. Say that I'm going to have exam results, which is a data of people like you and me, right? So let's start with me, and let's say I failed in the exam, right? So I'll just say false for me, right? And then let's have another friend who probably passed in the exam, and then maybe another friend who also failed in the exam like me, right? And then I have another friend who passed in the exam. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this data. I'm going to say that, hey, for this specific person and the result, whatever that result is for that person, in this exam results, okay, in this exam results dot items is basically like, you get these pairs for me. Now, if that person, no, not that person, if that result is true, which basically means that the person passed, I'm going to print it out, right? I'm going to say, hey, this person, let's just say this person passed the exam, okay? Else, otherwise, what I'm going to say is, or what I'm going to consider first of all is that this person, failed the exam. That's the only simplest thing that we want to do and achieve. Now, when I run this line, when I run this code, you see that it goes through uh, all these pairs of data. It says and prints these things line by line. It says Mohit failed the exam, Nimesh passed the exam, Nalin failed the exam, and Kriyanshu passed the exam. Right. So that's how Python code looks like. Right. This is some data. This is you call dictionaries in Python, which you will learn later. But yeah, this is like a loop in Python. You are going through this data one by one, right? One pair by pair, and then you have this indentation. This is basically like you keep four spaces before you want to have a code block that works on this for loop, right? And then there are keywords. There are multiple keywords here, like if keyword, else keyword, is keyword, for keyword, right? These are like Python reserved keywords. You cannot use them in variable names and things like that. But yeah, that's how it looks like. I know you will not be able to understand it in first go. You will understand it later, but that's how Python looks like.